Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Welcome back to our Python course. In the previous lecture, we wrote our first Python program. We also learned about the print function, comments, strings, and a few basic syntax rules. Today, we are moving on to the one of the most important topics in programming, variables and data types. Now, don't let these words scare you. I know they sound a little technical to you, but trust me, they are simpler than they sound. By the end of this video, you will not able to understand but also able to create your own Python programs using data variables very confidently. So let's go. Now, before I tell you what is variable, let me ask you a simple question. Suppose I ask you to remember your friend's phone number. Maybe you can remember it in one go, maybe two. But what if there are 50 phone numbers of your friends? That would be really difficult, right? So, what do we do in real life? We save those numbers in our phone. We give it a name, Rahul, Aman, and so on. Then, whenever we need the number, we simply search it by the name. Computer works almost the same way. Instead of phone numbers, they need to remember things like student name, age, marks, salary, and even score of a game. That's exactly how a variables exists. A variable is a simple place where a computer stores information so that it can be later used whenever it's needed. You don't need to memorize any complicated definition. Just remember this one simple sentence. A variable is a place where data is stored. A variable is a place where data is stored. That's enough for now. Or basic take an example like this. Think like a variable is like a box, and the name of the variable is the label on the box. Now you can store anything in the box. Like that, variable is the box. Now let's understand it with a more simple example. You have four boxes. One contains cloth, another box contains books, one has kitchen items, and another has electronics. Now imagine none of the boxes have labels. If I ask you to bring headphones, what do? You will simply open every single box until you find them. A lot of waste of time. Instead, we can label them as boxes. One says books, another says clothes, another named electronics, and so on. Now finding something becomes very easy, as it's easy to just take out the box named electronics and we can get the headphones. Now finding becomes very easy. Variables works exactly the same way. The label on the box is the variable name and the item inside the box is the value. Whenever Python needs the value, it simply looks at the label and finds it immediately. That's all. Variable really is nothing complicated. Now, alright, let's create our first variable together. Moving on to online compiler so that we can code. Now, exactly type what I am typing. Name equals to your name, or any other name. So here, as we have done, now let's understand this line. On the left side, we have name. This is a variable name. Think it as a label on our storage box. In the middle, we have a equals to sign. Now, this is very important. This equals to sign does not mean is equals to. Like in mathematics, here it simply means take the value on the right and store it inside the variable on the left. Finally, on the right side, we have Rahul. And this is the value we want to store. So this entire line means create a variable called name, store the value Rahul inside it. Very simple. Now, Now, talking about how we create a variable or how to know which type of variable we need to create. But before that, there comes another question. Can I name variable whatever I want? Technically, yes. But should you? Not always. Imagine you are in a company, your project has more than 50,000 lines of code. Would this type of variable make sense? Like x equals to Rahul. Maybe today you remember what x means, but what after 6 months? You open the same project. Now you are thinking what that x mean? What is a student's name? A city? A course? Nobody knows. That's why professional programs always use meaningful variable names. Instead of writing this x equals to Rahul, write student name equals to Rahul. That's now looking at the code immediately. Now anyone looking at our code immediately understand what the stored value inside the variable is. Even if I haven't touched the project for 1 year, we can still understand our code. The goal. That's the goal why we need choose such type of variable name. Now, write code that even your future self can understand. Now you might notice instead of writing student name, we are writing student underscore name. Why? Because this is the official Python style. It's called snake case. In snake case, every word letter is written in lowercase. Words are separated using underscore. Now, whenever you have multiple words, you use a underscore to separate them. For example, if there is a student name, then we use a student underscore name. Similar, like total marks, total underscore marks. Or even mobile number, mobile underscore number. This makes variable to look good. Now, look at some bad examples like ABC 123. Can we tell what it stores? Never. Now, can you tell what it stores? No. What about this? A equals to. So, no idea again. We don't know what it can store. So, always ask yourself one question before creating a variable. If anyone else read my code, will he understand what the variable stores? If the answer is yes, you have chosen a good variable name. Now, understanding our dynamic typing. So let's learn the biggest reason why beginners love Python. And honestly, it's one of my favorite feature too. Imagine I also ask you to fill out a form. The first field says name. The second field says name. The second says age. The third says phone number. You already know what type of information goes in each field. But Python almost works the same way. But there is in one interesting part. Let's don't ask to tell that it the type. Let's see what does it mean. I wait. Let me switch to online compiler. Now here I will write age equals to 25. Did I tell Python that this is an integer? No. Python looked at the value and immediately understood that this is a whole number. So I will write name equals to Rahul, but I didn't tell that Python this is a text. Python figured it out automatically. Same when we write price equals to 99 decimal 99. Python knows that this is a decimal number. And finally, is student is underscore student equals to true. Again, Python understand this is a Boolean. Isn't that amazing? We have never told Python anything, but the Python itself figured out which type of variable value we are storing in the variable. So it just converts that variable to that value type. So this is called dynamic typing. In simple, Python automatically understands the type of data we are storing. That's one reason why Python programs are shorter and easier to understand. Like other many languages, we are first need to define what type of variable type is that. Like in C language, we need to first define what type of variable we are going to store. Like in this, we need to first do bool is a student, then only it will work. But we don't need to do that in Python. Here, as you can see on the screen, we are doing Python. Here, age equals to 25 and name equals to hers. So age 25 here automatically typed as int and hers automatically typed as a string. But in languages like C or C++, we need to define first. Like here we are going to store integers. Here we are going to store alphabets or any string values. That's the difference, main difference. Now, moving on, what are data types? Now, Python automatically identifies data. We should understand what those types actually are. Imagine you walking past into a supermarket. Different things are kept in different sections. Vegetables are in one section, fruits are somewhere else, cold drinks are in another section, medicines are stored separately. Everything has its own category. Computers also organize the information same way. This is called data types. Think Think of data type as the label that tell Python what kind of information is this. Is it a number? Is it a text? Is it a decimal? Or is just true false? Means Boolean. Once the Python knows the category, it also knows how to store it and what the operator can be what operations can be what operations can be performed on it. Today we will learn four basic data types, and trust me, these four are gonna be most beginner friendly data types. So the four most basic data types, let's quickly look at them. The first one is integers. These are whole numbers like 10, 25, 100 and so on. Even even but in negative numbers are whole numbers, but floating numbers with decimals are not whole number. They are considered they are considered under float has decimal numbers like 3.14, 9.9 or 7.5 or anything you can say. Third one is a string mainly stores text like names, cities, addresses, messages. Everything written inside a quotation marks are finally everything written inside a quotation marks are mainly strings, and after that we came to boolean, and this is the easiest one as it has only two values, either true or false. Now we will understand each one with examples in the in the previous slide that we have just skipped. No, don't memorize it. Just trust the process. Now, moving on, as we have talked about it, whole numbers are under integer category. Decimals are under float category. Strings mainly contain text values, and when you ever see quotation marks, think that Python will treat it as a string. Now let's see a few examples on coding platform. Now here we will write language equals to Python. Then we will write greetings equals to hello. After that we will write author equals to me, and all those are under quotation marks. So here we can see, as I have defined you before, if there is quotation marks, it definitely means it's a string. Now before I run this, could you tell what will be the output? So let's print the output for you. Oh, we haven't put any print statement, so there will be no output, but the code ran properly. Now let's move to something interesting, like if we wrote a is equals to quotation 19. Then what does this mean? Is this an integer or a string? Take a guess. Here many beginners say it's the number, so it must be an integer. But you are wrong. Because it is inside quotation marks, Python treat it as text. So this is actually a string. This is one of the most common beginner mistakes. So remember one simple rule. If anything inside quotation marks, Python treats it as a text, no matter whether it look like a number or not. Now moving on to booleans in the slide. Now let's look at the one of the most easiest data types in Python. A Boolean variable can be only of two types, either true or either false or either nothing else. Let's understand this using very easy example. Suppose you log into your Gmail account. If your password is correct, login successful. That's true. If your password is wrong, login failed. That's false. Another example is think you are in classroom. Are the switched on? If yes, then the statement is true. Means the answer is true. If no, then the answer will be false. Very simple. Let's write a few example. Let me write Python light on equals to true. Login success equals to false. Is student equals to true. Here you notice something important. True always start with capital T and false always start with capital F. If you write small t or a small f, Python will give an error because Python only understands true when it's in capital form, and same goes with false. Always remember their first letters are in capital. Now moving on to type, as I have used it in previous one of our previous episode. Now let's talk it in more detail. Now here's something that is very useful. Suppose you have created a variable, but after some time you forgot what type of data is stored in it. Maybe it can be integer, maybe it can be string, and maybe it can be float. But how do we check? Type, just like the name suggests, it tells the type of data. Let's see it in our online compiler. Wait a minute. So here I will write print type 10. What do you think? What will it print? Guess. As I have tell you before, in number whole numbers are considered integers. So before running, let's see. This simply mean 10 is an integer. Now try another one. Now we will do print type 5.5. Now what do you guess? What will it print? So this one will print float. As I have already said you before, decimal numbers are considered float. Now what if we will type print type equals to type equals to no print bracket parenthesis type again parenthesis in invert quotes and then Python. What do you think? What this will print? So according to, as I have said before, anything under quotes are considered strings. So this one will print str, which means a string. Now after that we will check for the boolean. So for the boolean we will type print or type parenthesis, and here it comes true. And after running this we will get again bool, which means boolean. And don't worry that worry about the word written class. So basically this class is advanced topic which comes under oops, which is object oriented programming. For now just look at the part that says int, float and string. Now, what we care about whenever we are confused, we will use type function. It is one of the most easiest debugging tools in Python. Now, moving on to multiple variables. Let's create a small student profile. Instead of just using one variable, we will create multiple variables. So, moving on to again to the online compiler. Here we will write, first we will remove this and write name equals to any name. Then we will do is, that is also hypothetical. Then we will move to city. City equals to, oh, city equals to, I will take Mumbai. Mumbai. Then moving on with these three. Now, if we will type print, now we need to print them. So for printing them, print, to print a variable, we need to type print, then the variable name. It will print the data inside it, or the value we have stored inside it. So first we need to do all three: print name, print age, and the print city. So after typing perfect, we have done all this. Now everything appears on separate line, but Python gives us in shorter way. First we will print this. Now I will show you one more interesting thing. We can just use all three in one go. So we can type it like this: print name, then age, then city, and it will also work. You can, as you can see here, it all three has been printed. Python automatically puts a space. As I have told you before, that when we put comma, Python automatically takes the space between it. So if we want to update variables, so for updating variables, we need to first write them here. It's called initialization. The first time we define the variable, it's called initialization. The next time we define the variable, it's called overwriting, and the third time that the final value that's they're going to be stored. So if nothing else means, if after this nothing is new added to the variable, so the last value will get printed. So for this we will check it in, so we will try this in a compiler. Opening the compiler. So here we will first, as we have seen, the age is 26. So we will change the age to 30. Then we will change the age to 40. So as I have seen, as I have told you before, you can easily guess now the latest age will become 40, and you can see. So when we assign on anything new value to a previous variable, it will just get reassigned. Because every time we assign a new value, the old values get replaced. The variable always stores the latest value. Think about your age. You were last month, you may be 18, you may be 19, you may be 20. Your age changes every year. So that's why we need to change the variable. Its value also change whenever we need to change it. Great. Now, as we have learned all four of the basic data types, multiple variable assignments and updating the values, we can move on to how can we assign multiple variables same value. As you can see on the screen, we can update x equals to y equals to z equals to 100. So the same 100 values got assigned to all of the three. You can see this in the compiler. Let's just write it. For this we can x equals to y. Okay, we can go for x equals to y equals to z equals to 100. And for printing we can go for print x comma y comma z. So as you can see, all three got the same value. Now moving on to another example, like if we will take a equals to b equals to c and we will assign it 56. So what do you think? What will be the output? As I have talked earlier, it will also print 56. So we can do a, b, c. All the three will print, all three will given the value 56 and it will give the output 3 times 56 as you can see in the output. This not only work with same value type, we can assign also different value types, like when as you can see here we have type name equals to Aryan, age equals to 26 and city equals to Mumbai. We can also assign this in a single line. You can go like this. You can do like this: name equal name comma age comma city. And for assigning we can do name equals to apple, age equals to 13, and city equals to Kashmir. And we need to print this, so for printing it we can just copy and paste it. Now if we will print it, you can see apple, 13 and Kashmir, all three values are getting printed. We can also print it like this, as you can see here. We can print it like this. We can just print all three in a single line. So for that we can just copy paste it, and you can see all three are getting printed in the single line. Here Python automatically detects that the first variable takes the first input, the second variable takes the second value, and the third variable takes the third value. And this is a shortcut. So suppose three variables to have exactly the same values, we can go for this one. And if three values are different value, we can go for this one also. These shortcuts aren't mandatory, but I want to show you them as it can be really good for Python projects. Now moving on to how to do variable swapping. Now I am going to show you something that surprises almost every beginner. So here we can do this variable swapping. So we will first do the traditional way. So for traditional way, so for that we need to first remove all this. Now we will do a equals to 20, b equals to 30. Now if I will tell you to change the value that is in 20 and change the value of a to b and the value of b to a, If you have learned any programming language before, you might know this method. You can do temp equals to a. This temp is a temporary variable which we will use to for use which we are using for our ease. So after no, and b equals to temporary. So let me explain you what here happening. First, we have saved the value of a inside the variable, temporary variable. Then we assign the value of b to variable a. Then we assign variable a with the value of here value of a is being assigned using the temporary variable, as temporary variable have the value of a. You can let me show you is it being if the value is being changed or not. So for that we can go for print a comma b, and the same we can go for here print a comma b. Now let's see the value. You can see that first it got printed 2030 and then it got printed 3020. So from here we can see that the value of a and b are exchanging, or you can say the value of being are being exchanged. So there is also a shortcut method for this. So for that we need to take a comma b equals to b comma a, and print a comma b. See, it again got interchanged. This method also works. We don't Python does not does this internally. We will understand more details about it in further lectures. Just remember, this Python shortcut is very good. Python developers use this almost all time. Now let's talk about some common beginner mistakes. Before we finish our lecture of today, let's look at some of them. And honestly, don't worry about making mistake. We have all made them. Let's see the first one. So for that, I will explain those in a coding platform. Let me open the coding. So for that, first let me remove all this. Then we will go for a student name equals to think it Akshay. So what do you think? Will it work or not? As there is a space in the variable name, Python doesn't allow space. Instead, it will throw an error. So you can see syntax error, as there is a space between both the variables. So for that, that space is removed and we can put underscores, and now that program runs exactly fine. For printing, we can check if the value is being stored or not. So for that, student name, and we can run it. So you can see it's working very easily. Now let's check one more mistake. Let's do one age equals to 19, or you can take 20 and run on. Wait, let me also do the print statement. Print one is, what do you think? What will be the output? You may guess it 20, but it's not 20, as the variable starting with a number also causes syntactical error. So we can write it like this. You can think it like this: variables name never start with any integers. You can put integers at second place also, but never the beginning of the variables is integers. Now let me show you another example. Here let's go with what should I take? Let's take city. City equals to Delhi, and let's print it. Print city. What do you think? What will its output? Let's run. Oops, there's an error. What do you think? What's the cause of error? You can see the first variable name is done in lowercase small c, and the second done has been done in uppercase, or you can say capital C. And as we know that in Python, variables are case sensitive, so capital letters and small letters are considered different, they are not same, so it will cause an error. You can change it by doing city, and now it will work perfectly fine. Now let's do for print is. What do you think? What will its output? It also cause an error because we have never written some anything named age before. We have done age one. So this can be you can consider it as a spelling mistake. But even a single change in the character or spelling mistakes, the program will not work. So for that, don't panic. First check variable spellings, capital letters, spaces, number of numbers at the beginning, missing quotation marks. These are most common mistakes beginners do these almost every time. Now, trust me, every experienced programs spend a lot of time fixing these types of mistakes. So don't feel bad about this if it's happened to you. It's common for everyone. Now let's move to some practice questions. And for here, we have one practice question where we need to create a variable named name, then store their name, then we need to age, school, branch, or we can say school, section, and print all of that. It is very easy for you all. If you want, I can give the code for you. Let me write the code for you all. So for the code, let's open online compiler. So removing it, name equals to your name. Then what will others? Then age, school, section. Then for age, school, going for section. That's B. Now printing all these. Print name, comma, age, comma, school, comma, section. And when we will print it, it will work perfectly fine. I think that full stop. Now it will work perfectly fine. You can see your name, age, school, and section. Or you can also go for the class. Now moving on, let's move to our second question. Here also there is a create a variable named radius, assign the radius, length 20, assign value 20, width assign value 10, and simply print all three. This is also the same way that we have done. You can pause the video and do it by yourself, then move on to the next question. I will not tell the answer of this one, explain the answer of this one. I will just show you the codes. So you can see this is the output of the code of the challenge. Now moving on to lecture challenge, or the you can say the last question. For this you need to create your own profile, name, age, college, branch, city, and so on. You need to create for yourself. four, five variables and store the value and print all those at the same time. So on the output, I want to see this output, and you can provide the answer in the comments, and I will check and tell you if the answer is right or wrong. So moving on to, before we end our today's lecture, let's quickly revise what we have learned till now. You remember the concept much more better. First, we understood why variables are needed. Without variables, a computer wouldn't be able to remember the information while a program is running. We also learned what a variable is. A variable is simply a place where we store data. After that, we have created our first variables. We also learned the rules of naming variables, like we cannot name a variable using integers at the beginning. We cannot put spaces between the variables. The variables are case sensitive, so we if the variables initialized as a small letter, then the print statement would also be using small. We uses snake case, like the underscore in between. We understood one of the Python biggest advantage called dynamic typing. Python automatically identifies the types of data we are storing. Then the four different basic types of data: integers, float, strings, and boolean. We also learned how to check types of data using the type function, as you can remember. After that, we have explored multiple variable assignments, updating variables, variable swapping, and finally we have also discussed some common beginner mistakes that you should always try to avoid. And of course, we solved a few practice questions and one question that I have assigned to you. That's all for one lecture. So expect yourself to remember everything immediately after practicing, or you can just practice it multiple times to get it done. The more confident you will become, the more good you will get in it. Now, before you move on to the next lecture, I have a small request for you all. Please don't just watch the video and continue. Open your compiler, type every example yourself, change the values, experiment, make mistakes, fix them, and this is how real programmers learn. Don't just get frustrated in a single error. Just correct it. Try to get it correct. Every single experience programmers see errors every single day is an experience for the next day. The difference is, don't give up. They read the error, and first read the error, understand it, and fix it. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Every mistake is helping you to become a better programmer. So in our next programming lecture, we are going to make our program much more interesting. Until now, we have done with all our thing. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, keep practicing. As always, that's all. Thank you.